Hey, how y'all this morning? Hell, at least this morning when I'm filming. So, we are going to transplant some seedlings. When I sow the seeds in the trays, I usually put 2 or 3 seeds in there to make sure I'm going to get germination on those seeds, especially if they're a year or 2 old. So, sometimes I'll have some blank spots. Sometimes I will have some trays that I have 3 or 4, 5 plants in them. So you can take those seedlings very carefully, pull them out out of the cell, break that apart real gently, and replant those in some of your empty cells or a new tray. So we're going to do that right now. That way you can have more plants, and some people just go through there and pinch off the ones they don't want, leave the best one on there, and that hurts my feelings for me to do it. So that's fine for them. No, that's fine if that's what you want to do. I just have a hard time with that. Painting fine wood, I can't stand that. I can't do it, and look, can't do it. So it's the same thing with the plants. I don't want to waste those plants, so I try to reseed them if I can. Now, if there's a weak plant in there and a strong plant, I will pinch off that weak plant to let that other one grow and not try to disturb it. But if I've got 3 or 4 and they're all about the same, they're good healthy plants, I try to transplant them. I may not use them all, but I've got friends and families that they do some gardening, and if I can provide them with some good healthy plants for them to put in their garden, that's what I would like to do. I mean, that's what we do as neighbors and friends. All right, let's get this started. One of my trays, we've got some peppers over here, and I've already transplanted some of those, but I got a couple left that I'm gonna probably do because they're pretty healthy plants. I've got a lot of tomatoes that I've got over here. Mortgage lifted tomatoes. If y'all never tried those, try those. Those are some great beefsteak tomatoes, very meaty, nice tomato. Anyway, I've got 2 in that one, 3 in that one, 3 in that one, 4 in that one, 4 in that one. And I'm going to take these and I'm going to pull them out of these trays, break them apart, and most of these trays have got plants in them, so I'll have to start a new tray with these transplants in them. So we're going to do that right now. There's one of the trays we're going to be working on. Now this one's got 3 beautiful tomato plants in here, and I just cannot bring myself to pinch these off and waste this plant. So we're going to transplant these into some other cells. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to transfer some dampened potting mix. I like to use the dampened. Some people put it in dry, but if you try to water it from the top, a lot of times that potting mix will float up, spill over, your plant will be displaced from the spot you put it in, and you'll have a mess. If you set it in water and let it soak up, you don't have that problem. But I like to pre-moisten it. That way it's a little more pliable. This is a little bit lighter material. If the wind is blowing, or if you've got any kind of air currents at all, this will sometimes blow around. It's easy to just drop little grains of it everywhere. So if it's moistened, it's a lot easier to handle. It stays together a little more, and it won't float up when you go to water this thing. So let's transplant these into this. First of all, we're going to take this cell. We're going to work this cell a little bit to break loose the soil. And very gently pull that cell out of there. Don't want to wait a whole lot longer than this because the roots will be entangled. It still will work, but it's just a little more difficult. The roots become entangled and the leaves sometimes will intermingle with each other, and it's hard to get apart. This stage is not a bad stage to do this at. So let's break this apart. We'll do it over our pot so we don't waste the soil. Don't want to waste anything. There's no sense in it. All right, we're going to break this apart. There's one little seedling, and the other 2 are now apart. Just gently pull them apart. We're going to just make a little spot in there And remember, tomatoes, you can bury it up just almost right up to the leaves. So this is a good chance to deepen that plant so it has more of a root when you go to transplant it. Gently pack that down in there. Spread that around a little bit. Sorry if I'm blocking that shot. Gently, gently, gently. All right, there's one done. Let's get another one. You want to put a little bit of soil in the bottom at least. And then drop that down in there. Drop your soil around that. Kind of gently tap that into place. We're going to fill it all the way to the top of that cell. Get that other leaf out of there. And let's do another one. There's another one with 3. Work that cell gently. See the way I'm mashing the bottom there? Kind of move it around, push up on that bottom. It doesn't matter if you really hurt this cell. You're really not supposed to reuse cells. If you do, you need to sanitize it because you don't want to move disease from one place to another and spread it around your garden. I just gently pull that apart. There's one already right there. Look at that. We're just going to drop that down in that cell. Right there, just like that. I'll break these other 2 apart. They're a little closer. We'll put them in here. It's got a little dirt on it left. We'll drop it down in that cell. Now we'll just start adding that dirt around there and prop that plant up. These plants right here, this tomato plant I'll show you here in just a second, they're cuttings from last year at the fall, just before the first frost. Week or so, and I just cut a couple of them off, stuck it in water. They stayed there for several weeks and rooted, and then I transplanted them into a pot. Bury this plant, that tomato plant. You see how long it is right there? About 2 inches, maybe a little longer. I'm gonna bury it right up to here, right up basically to its neck. Leave those 2 seed leaves out. Pack that dirt around there, and we're going to bury it deep. And it's going to grow more roots from that stem. That's the way tomatoes are made. The deeper you bury them, the more roots they grow. And you know, sometimes life is like that. See, I've got it buried right up to its neck. Sometimes in life we feel buried. Sometimes right up to our neck. We've had all we think we can stand. And God may not have put us in that situation, but He may be using that situation for you to grow more roots. Try not to leave a lot of excess dirt on those leaves because it's blocking the sunlight if you do. So put a little water over them and then wash it off, or let's get that more in the center. There we go. Just tap that down around that. You don't want any, rather not have any air pockets in there. And I don't think we will. Right up to the top of that cell again. Yeah, they're not perfectly centered, but they work. Now there we go. Now that would have been 6 plants we would have pinched off if we were doing it that way, but now we've got 6 new plants in this cell. They're going to take root, they're going to do fine, they're not even going to show that they were transplanted. It's going to be very little stress on them. We're going to keep them watered, and we'll probably end up giving these to a neighbor or a friend or some family members that's going to grow a garden, and I believe they will appreciate them. All right, now you can do this with more than tomatoes. You can do this with just about any plant that you're growing as a seedling. You want to get it at about this stage before the roots entangle, before the leaves entangle. Move them to a new cell with some good potting mix or seed starter mix and fertilize it. Now you do not want to fertilize these until the second set of leaves are fully out. Okay, and then you want to only, if you're using a liquid fertilizer, cut that formula in half. Use it sparingly. You do not want to you can over fertilize these things, and they will go into a stress mode and turn yellow or wilt or something like that. So, but there we go, our 6 new tomato plants. That gives us more to give away. These are the tomatoes that I took cuttings off of a plant last year. I've got 3 of them. They're all Cherokee purples, and I put them in these pots. I keep putting them a little deeper in pots so those roots will expand and will have more root area to absorb nutrients. I go through here right now and I pinch off any buds that's coming up because you don't want this putting any energy into making a tomato or a bulb or a flower or anything, bud or a flower or anything. So you want to keep those pinched back. These are well established, so I do fertilize these from time to time. We appreciate y'all watching our videos, and if you can, like those. If you like the content we're doing, if you would like and share that, because that gives us an indication that we're moving in the right direction, that we're doing what you like to see. So if you don't mind doing that, we'd appreciate it very much. Hey, we appreciate you joining us today, getting your hands dirty with us and everything. Just continue to watch if you don't mind. We enjoy having you here. And if you like this content, if you don't mind, just subscribe down there. I'd appreciate it very much. Hey, and remember, count your blessings every day. And I know you'll find you are blessed well beyond measure. I know that I am. God bless.